Welcome back, everyone, to the New Orleans Saints franchise here on Madden NFL 23. Taking on the San Francisco 49ers on the road. This will be a tough test. Simply put, because they have such a good defense, and of course, Jameis Winston, 15 interceptions on the season, and they've got playmakers galore. Fred Warner on defense, Jimmy Ward at cornerback, Trey Lance at quarterback. It's going to be a tough team, guys. Trey Lance already getting the game started with a first down. Give him a big hit a little bit, but he's all fired up, of course. So 26-yard line, 3rd down and 2. We're bringing the pressure. Lance is going to go down. Nice job by P.J. Williams to bring the heat and get him sacked. Get him tackled for a loss right there. So good job by our Saints defense. They will kick up a field goal and good. So 3-0 lead here for San Francisco early in the first quarter. Jameis Winston, one of his first times ever running the football. I just don't usually run with him. I'm just trying to find the open receiver and get this pass off quickly like we do here to Chris Olave. So nice catch down the sideline. So moving the ball down the field. We got a 3rd and 5 situation here at the 21-yard line. Jameis, good protection, fires to the end zone. That's a touchdown. Jarvis Landry, nice play call right there, firing up the middle, and what a catch in contested coverage too. I like the way that we're moving the ball right now, guys, against this tough defense. But here is Elijah Mitchell going to get a couple yards there. 2nd down and 9. Trey Lance going to fire off his back foot on the run, but a pass complete, getting them to 3rd down and 1. So big down and distance here for both teams, and we're going to get a stop. Nice job by Marcus May to read the O-line and read the movement and get a nice tackle for a loss right there. So 4th down and 2. Robbie Gould going to miss the field goal, so that might come to cost him here later on in the football games. But here we got a nice pass to Michael Thomas. Big gain there for the Saints. 27-yard line. Winston, pass completed. Little check down here to Alvin Kamara. He's going to get the first down. And already kicking off the second quarter. Moving it well. 1st and 10. Look at that. Look at that route. What a throw. What a beautiful throw. Jameis Winston to Landry. Again, that's touchdown number 2 for Jarvis and Jameis. So a good lead here, 14-3, up by 11. They're going to run play action here. It's a play action play that we love to run. They must have been doing their homework and said, you know what, we're going to give them a taste of their own medicine. Brandon Ayuk there with a big catch. They're going to get all the way here to the 12-yard line. Handoff here to Elijah Mitchell. He's on his way to the end zone. First down, but stopped at the 1-yard line. So the 1-yard line monster helping us out here. Handoff. Kyle Juszczyk. That's unfortunate. He's always a pesky little guy, man. Fullback, can catch the ball out of the backfield, can run it effectively. It's always tough to account for here. But Jameis and the Saints moving the ball down the field here. 29 seconds left. We do call a timeout to conserve that clock a little bit. And wide open in the end zone is Michael Thomas. And somehow Jameis Winston led him a little bit too far. But I like what we saw right there in that last play. So we're going to run this thing again and see if we can find Thomas this time. So Winston dropping back. We are going to fire to the end zone. That pass is completed. That's Michael Thomas, baby. Let's go. 12th touchdown on the season. Leads the NFL in that category. So for everybody thinking that we can't throw the ball effectively with Winston at quarterback, well, check yourself, because that's the 12th touchdown. Leading the league, man. Leading the league. All right, 3rd down and 6 after a nice hit there by Tyrann Mathieu, and Trey Lance going to fire up the middle here. We actually took our defensive end and brought him back out into coverage thinking that that slant was coming, but we didn't get back there in time. So 1st and goal, and Trey Lance going to get hit hard here in the 3rd quarter. 3-yard line, that's a big knock right there. 2nd down and goal, and nice job by Werner to come from the other side and tackle him from behind. I mean, he tripped him up, but wide open in the end zone is Deebo Samuel. You can't keep him down for too long, right? So touchdown there for the 49ers. They're going to end up going for 2 here to try to get it to a 3-point football game. I don't know. I don't really like this call at this point. I'm trying to keep myself in the game as long as possible. And down by 5, 2 points to get you down 3. I don't know. It's just not the right place and time in my opinion. But 3rd down and 1, and we have got to get that first down. But Kamara is going to fumble the football, and then all the way to the end zone is going to be Jimmy Ward. Oh, that sucks. That hurts, because now the 49ers are back on top for the first time since they've led 3-0 in this football game. It's been pretty much a game that's been dominated by the Saints, but we're really hoping that this call gets overturned. I don't think it's a fumble, and luckily they do give it back to us here. So Blake Gillikin going to bomb this deep from our 35 down to their 10 is where that thing hit, and it's going to fall right by the 5-yard line. Actually, the 6 is where they'll spot it. So it puts our defense in a really good spot here late in the third quarter. We got to get some stops, though. They're going to hand this off to Debo to the right side. He's going to get 3. They're going to stop him at the 9-yard line. Trey Lance taking a big hit. A couple big ones there. Huge hit, actually, by Street. 3rd down and 1, and Mitchell is going to find some opening there, and unfortunately, they're going to get the first down and move upwards past the 20. Let's start the fourth quarter here. 3rd down and 8. We've got Trey Lance taking a big hit. That is Taco Charlton, former Michigan Wolverine, getting the sack. 4th down and 14, and Robbie Gould, who's already missed a field goal here in this game, he is going to miss here. And that was a tough one because that would have got them to a 21-19 football game. So 2nd down and 7, Saints here with the football. This is a big down and distance here for us. We've got to pick up this first down, but we came so close. It's a great tackle there. So what is going to be the call right here? 3rd down and 1. We got to get it, guys. We got to do this thing here. We got to try to kill some clock, and we're trying to follow the pulling guard, but we couldn't react quick enough. He actually cut over to the middle, and Fred Warner gobbles us up. That sucks. But luckily, we've got the strong leg of Will Lutz, but he's got a 6-mile-an-hour wind in his face. If we can hit this, we go up by 8. That's a touchdown and a 2-pointer. It's a perfect hold, perfect kick, but oh, it went through. It actually hit, I thought it hit the upright right there, or the baseline of the upright, but it actually hit off of the camera and still somehow went in. We'll take it. 24-16, up by 8 with 4 minutes and 20 seconds left to go. And on 3rd down and 1, Trey Lance going to fire this thing on his back foot, or off his back foot, I should say, and it goes incomplete. So again, we're trying to follow our blocking, but we run right into our own man. That's going to get us pushed back. 4th down and 4. We will have to punt the football away, but this is now becoming a series of unfortunate events as the Saints are just trying to kill the clock. That's literally all we're trying to do. 2 minutes left. 49ers. Big hit. No first down, though. We're going to keep bringing the pain, man. 2nd and 4. Pass completed here to Mitchell. He makes one-man miss. This is a big hit by Roby, but a first down nonetheless. Minute 25. San Francisco still with 3 timeouts left to go. Lance dropping back, a 7-step drop. Pass completed here to Mitchell. Takes a big hit. That is so many big hits on this drive on 49ers receivers that they still haven't dropped the football yet. They haven't fumbled it. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for a key turnover here. But 1 minute left. Kittle with the catch, and out of bounds he goes. 3rd down and 1. Big down and distance. And Tyler Croft, tight end number 2, with the touchdown. We were looking for the pick. We were trying to read and react and go for the interception. Take a look at Demario Davis here. I thought we were closer than we were. Touchdown, 49ers. Now they have to go for 2 here. They're going to hand the ball off, and oh, what a gutsy play call that was, and what a move to get into the end zone. 2-point conversion is good, and we've got a tie ball game, guys, but we're not out of this. All we need is a field goal ourselves. That's it. You can win the ball game. Let's go. Let's do it. 57 seconds. Winston going to fire up the middle. That is a risky pass, but Michael Thomas makes the catch here. We'll call a no huddle. We'll call that hurry up. We still got 3 timeouts in our back pocket. So let's get some quick passes going. Let's move the ball down the field. 30 seconds. Looks like, oh, we got lucky here. We got Javon Kinlaw going to be getting the 49ers a timeout there, guys. So we got lucky. Winston rolling out to the right, just trying to avoid the pressure. He's going to go down, and now we have to call the timeout. That sucks. That really sucks, because we got 3rd down and 14. We got to get a first down here. That's our only chance at a field goal. And Winston, oh no. Just like earlier, he overthrows the intended target, and we've got to punt the football back to the 49ers. And we got to keep Robbie Gould away from his safe kicking distance here. Elijah Mitchell, look at this. He makes Marcus May miss. He didn't even put a move on him. Marcus May just totally whiffed. He over-pursued. Trey Lance going to fire out here to the right. That pass is somehow caught by George Kittle. And on 2nd down and inches with 2 seconds left, Saints call a timeout, try to freeze Robbie Gould. He's missed 2 field goals so far in this game. This one is super clutch. Can he deliver the win, the walk-off win for San Francisco? It's fading to the right. No, it fades to the left, and it just inches itself in to the goalposts. Field goal, San Francisco. They will win the football game, 27-24. And that's a tough one, man. That one stings. There were multiple opportunities for us to win this game, and we just really couldn't convert. Couple instances where we were trying to follow our lead blocker. There was a drive there with about 5 minutes in the fourth quarter that we should have probably killed more time. Yeah, we allowed San Francisco back into this game. Really, I mean, it was like, what, 14-3 at one point? So you could say it was kind of a choke job. I mean, I'll say that. It was a choke job. We just didn't get it done when it mattered the most. But Michael Thomas, over 110 yards receiving, had a touchdown today. Jarvis Landry had 2. All in all, it was a pretty decent game. No interceptions by Jameis Winston, so yet again, another clean game for him. So that's back-to-back appearances in this series, in this gameplay series here, that with no interceptions. So I think I figured it out, guys. But it kind of sucks that we had to lose that game in that fashion, in that way that we did. I thought our defense played decently. I thought they played well. I would have liked to see more sacks on Trey Lance there. Maybe a couple more, maybe some more turnovers. Like we also didn't get Trey Lance to turn the football over either. So that kind of sucked. But we're still in the playoff mix, even despite the loss. We're now at the 6th seed, and we're on pace to play the Dallas Cowboys. So that's going to do it for the gameplay here. Tomorrow will be against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Primetime matchup. Looks like a night game here against Tom Brady. Should be a tough one, man. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully we get a win. We kind of get off the schneid a little bit with this loss against the 49ers. But let's now move over and talk about our draft profiles for our quarterbacks. My number 1 quarterback on the board is Heisman frontrunner Darnell Bourgeois from Southern. He's got decent size for an NFL quarterback, and it should not scare teams away at 6'2". If Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson produce, 6'2" is not something to worry about at all, in my opinion. But scouts will end up knocking it. I know they will, once draft season starts to come about, and of course the combine. But his strong arm, playmaking ability, and vision downfield is something that NFL scouts have drooled over. He's led his team to an 8-1 record atop their conference and atop the NCAA in passing yards and touchdowns. And of course, he is the frontrunner in the Heisman Trophy race. He's turned heads, but he's going to get that unfair tag of being from a small school and playing in a strong conference. Although, all of those things aside, I do love myself some Darnell Bourgeois. I believe he's going to be the first quarterback taken off the board here in the draft. I don't think us as the Saints, we're going to get him. We don't have a round 1 draft pick. Our first one comes in round 2. So we'd have to package something to a team that's probably in position to go get him, and they'd be asking for a ransom. I think Darnell Bourgeois has basically played himself out of being drafted by the Saints. And I think his strengths, just with that strong arm, his vision, accuracy at all levels down the field, he throws a catchable ball, his confidence level, I think all those things are definitely worthy of a number 1 overall pick. Pro comparison, I have him compared to Matthew Stafford with that strong arm and can run when he needs to, and he can make every single throw you want him to. I give this an A grade, and I believe that the Falcons will end up taking Darnell Bourgeois round 1, pick 1. So we're going to have to deal with him in the NFC South for a long, long time. Next up is going to be Travis Willows from Washington. Now, Travis Willows possesses a game of a traditional pocket passer, although he does showcase the ability to run and run well when he's needed. He doesn't do anything designed. It's more of an escapability thing. Willows does boast a cannon for an arm and can fit the football in extremely tight windows. And much like Bourgeois, Willows trusts his arm, and while it doesn't get him into trouble, those tight window throws will be even tighter at the pro level, which is a cause for concern regarding processing time and knowing when to throw the ball. So the speed of the NFL game may get to Willows. It also may not. But what we do know is that this kid is talented and should be right up there with consideration for a team needing a quarterback early. As far as strength and weaknesses go, I like his arm strength, his confidence, his running ability when he needs to, accuracy, and he's a leader for this Washington Husky football team. Weaknesses are processing time, and sometimes he's overconfident in his arm strength. At the college level, that arm strength will not be a problem, but at the next level, it might be. As a pro comparison, I compare him to Brett Favre. I think he's a little bigger than Brett Favre, but I think that rocket arm and that rocket ball thing that he's got going on, I think that might be a very good comparison. So I give him an A grade, right there with Darnell Bourgeois. You could really kind of split hairs with the two of them, but I think they both bring a little something extra to their game that kind of separates them a little bit. I think he's going to Detroit. I think they need a quarterback, obviously with Jared Goff being a bridge guy. I think Minnesota could possibly be an option there for Willows, but I like the Lions in this situation. Next quarterback up on the board is Rain Rowe from LSU, quarterback that we've seen in gameplay against Tulane. And this guy is Louisiana born and raised. He is in love with the New Orleans Saints. His grandpa always told him stories about watching Archie Manning and, of course, Terry Bradshaw. And Rain knew that he wanted to become a quarterback. And maybe one day, as a Saint, I don't know, could we possibly move up for a guy like this? I think he's going to be probably being taken a little bit later in the first round. Maybe we could have a chance to trade up and go get this guy. But it's tough. It's a very tough call. I don't think that we're going to go get number 1 overall pick, Darnell Bourgeois. I don't think that that's going to happen. But with where Rain Rowe kind of slots himself, where he's projected, I think we might have a chance. He's got the size needed to play the position at 6'4", and he can play it effectively. Therefore, the vision downfield, the spot receivers, smaller QBs just wouldn't really have, and have the ability to process where those receivers are going to be. Really, if you can't see that far downfield, that's very tough for you. But Rain can. He's 6'4". You know, being able to see over the O-line is an underlooked part of the game at that position, and he checks that box. His size is also a weapon, given his ability to run and his escapability and pocket presence. Namely, he's just tough to bring down. Rain is the 3rd best quarterback on my board, and in my mind, behind Bourgeois and Willows. It's simply because of his statistics as a tiebreaker. I think Bourgeois and Willows have put up the numbers where Rain Rowe really kind of is lacking in that department, but he does check off a lot of boxes that any pro team would want in their franchise quarterback. As far as strengths and weaknesses go, I have arm strength, size, vision, break tackle ability, and pocket presence here for Rain Rowe. A weakness is that he trusts his ability a little bit too much to break tackles, and at times he hangs back there and starts dancing a little bit where he should be just killing the play, throwing it out of bounds, and I just think that Rain sometimes believes a play should never die. And I think that may be a hard lesson to learn at the next level, but he's going to have to learn it quick if he wants to hold on to a job. Pro comparison, I have him compared to Donovan McNabb. A lot of you guys probably never watched Donovan McNabb, but when I did, he could run, he could move around in the pocket. I think he's obviously a little smaller, about 2 inches smaller than Rain Rowe here at 6'4", but I think it's a good comparison. Got a rocket arm, got a bazooka type of cannon arm, as McNabb did, and he can run around a little bit. I think Rain really fits that prototype. I give him an A- grade, just a little bit, just as something to differentiate him from Willows and Bourgeois. I think a projected team to take him would be round 1, pick 5 for the Commanders, but obviously all of this is in flux here because our season with the Saints is not quite done yet. But I do think that Washington needs a quarterback, and they need a high-impact type of player here. I think he goes inside the top 5. Maybe we can trade with Washington, possibly, if we give him what they want. Next quarterback up on the board is Alan McAllister from UL Lafayette, otherwise known as Louisiana now. And, you know, he started off the season really hot. So hot that he was being considered one of the top quarterbacks in the NCAA. He was even getting Heisman votes, really, with how well he was playing. But with his injuries and leaving games at times for the Ragin' Cajuns, and just tack on some late losses in the season, McAllister started falling down in mock drafts to the late first round. He's still a very solid quarterback who, compared to the top 3 quarterbacks ahead of him, he's got more of a running ability on designed runs. Whereas Willows, Bourgeois, and Rowe can just escape when needed, McAllister just has the innate ability to take off on read options, RPOs, and other kind of quarterback-designed running plays. So aside from that, McAllister does possess a highly accurate arm, and I'm not real quite sure about the arm strength at the next level, but he is a very highly accurate passer, and it's something a very West Coast style of team should enjoy, especially with his nice blend of size, running ability, and accuracy. I think a West Coast type of team would love that. A better finish towards the end of the season and a bowl appearance for the Raging Cajuns, maybe, hopefully, should improve his stock, but he's got a lot of work to do to kind of get that bad taste out of everybody's mouth. As far as strengths go, I've kind of talked about it. He trusts his teammates, makes his teammates better. He's vaulting that Raging Cajuns teams, I believe. His accuracy, his running ability is what makes him good. Weaknesses, arm strength, and he does have an injury concern because it seems like every game he's getting knocked out. Pro comparison, I would compare him to Alex Smith, even though, I'd give McAllister a little bit more power in his running game versus what Alex Smith did. So it's kind of like a weird, like Tim Tebow, Alex Smith type of mix. But I think just because of his accuracy, his ability to throw more than he runs, I think that kind of separates and splits them up a little bit. I think Alex Smith makes more sense for McAllister. I give him a B+ grade, and going to the Seattle Seahawks, so very run-heavy type of team. They need a quarterback pretty badly, and I think that that's a good fit for McAllister. My fifth quarterback out of the 12 would be Jorge Coleman from Michigan. Another former member on the Heisman watch. So just like McAllister, Coleman, in the early going of the season, was one of the Heisman leaders. He was in the top 4 at least, but he's taken a back seat with the team's recent losses to Michigan State and Penn State, with Coleman playing less than average in those losses. Now, as is the case with many seasons of Michigan football, I'm a big Blue fan, I'm a Michigan guy. When it matters the most, the team tends to fall flat on their face, and when the pressure's on, Coleman seems to crumble along with the team. So this is kind of the knock on Coleman. Is he a big game type of quarterback, or does he just pad stats on mediocre to bad teams? His physical tools will serve him well, but some decision making is questionable. I still rank Coleman as a top 5 quarterback in this class compared to the rest of them below him. I think he's still a pretty solid quarterback, all things considered, but he shouldn't be taken inside the top 10. I think he'd do well in a franchise that has an established quarterback where he can kind of be groomed into a starting role. I think his strengths are size, arm strength, running ability. He can run a little bit here. And his decision making is a weakness, and his clutch factor are known weaknesses for this player. I think pro comparison would be Jay Cutler. I know Cutler didn't really move a whole lot. I think that when he did move, he could get that first down for you. I think that that's what Coleman does, but arm strength, size, strengths, weaknesses, I think it just fits Jay Cutler perfectly. Grade, I'd give him a B, and projected team, I think inside that top 15 would be the Houston Texans. They're currently above 500 right now in the Saints franchise, so yeah, I think the Texans with Davis Mills, and then you got Coleman in there, I think they can kind of duke it out for the starting job. Number 6 prospect on the board here for quarterbacks is J.J. Smith from Auburn. Now, Heisman candidate and leader of the, spoiler alert, former number 1 team in the nation, Auburn. J.J. Smith is possibly one of the most interesting quarterbacks in the entire class. His running ability is what stands out the most, as the Tigers' offense only throws when necessary, when either the score or down and distance dictates it, really. Either they don't trust JJ to make the correct read, or they simply want to utilize his gift of running the football. We're not quite sure what that is all about. But in a pivotal game against Georgia, Smith was highly efficient in passing, going 22 of 27 for 3 touchdowns and 1 interception. But these passing attempts did not come in bulk until late in the game. In fact, he only had 9 attempts in the third quarter. So the running game was actually just shut down, and he was just gobbled up by the Bulldog defense. He had 55 yards on 17 attempts. It's not a lot. And so the big knock on JJ is, of course, his limited film and throwing the ball, and his seemingly lack of elusiveness when running. He's fast, he can accelerate, he has the agility, but he doesn't often pull out a bag of tricks to make defenders miss, so he doesn't juke a whole lot. at the college level, if you're not able to do that, if you're not able to juke someone into another galaxy, how likely are you going to miss tacklers using speed and athleticism only at the next level? So there has been talk that maybe JJ should convert to being a wide receiver where he can really utilize his speed and perhaps doesn't need to develop any moves to make people miss. It's something that JJ would have to be ready for a conversation about, but he'll have a ton of leverage if he should rebound from this loss to Georgia, if he can make it to the college football playoff or even win the Heisman Trophy. So we might have another Lamar Jackson situation on our hands where teams are telling him to convert and do one thing, and he says, no, I'm going to be a quarterback. So we'll see how it all plays out with J.J. Smith. So I do like his running ability. He's highly efficient as a passer, so he's kind of in that still that same kind of West Coast type of thing there. He doesn't really challenge deep. He poses no threat to challenge deep and doesn't take the top off any defense. And just a weakness would be the lack of intermediate to deep throws, and they're a cause for concern. Another cause would be coaching staff's unwillingness to open up the playbook to allow him to throw, and it just shows a lack of confidence. Whether that's true or not, it's just a question to be had. Pro comparison, I compare him to Tyrod Taylor. Didn't really have a high yards per attempt at college, about mid-sixes, I think, so just not very high, very West Coasty, run a little bit there. So Tyrod, I've always liked Tyrod Taylor out of Virginia Tech, but that's just a comparison I think makes the most sense. Grade, I give him a B-, and the projected team round 2, just because if he does win that Heisman, and he is leading the former number 1 team, Auburn, to a lot of success this season. So I think he could possibly go round 2 to the Baltimore Ravens. Number 7 quarterback on my list is Jeff Young from Georgia Tech. Jeff Young has such a very bulldozer frame. He just makes for a very interesting prospect at quarterback. He absolutely gashed Pittsburgh on the ground in an ACC battle this season by rushing for over 150 yards and also chipping in over 110 yards passing, along with a touchdown. Additionally, he didn't turn the ball over in his 17 attempts, completing 11 passes. So while Young is beginning to take on that running quarterback play style in many scouts' eyes, he's no slouch when throwing the football either. Young currently ranks 11th in passing yards in all of the NCAA with 23 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. He also ranks 15th amongst quarterbacks in total rushing yards. So really the story here with Young is he can do it all. He's really Mr. Do-It-All quarterback, which is sort of code for he's a project at the NFL level. But, and it's a big but, yeah, just use your imagination there. He shows heart, grit, and determination to be the best. And if we know anything about those types of guys, you never want to count them out. Jeff Young could be a major sleeper in this draft, but he's not a quarterback you would want to be a day 1 starter at the NFL level. He'll need to sit and learn for a few seasons. So I think really where he needs to go is somewhere where he can be groomed, somewhere that's got an established quarterback, somewhere that he can sit and learn the position a little bit at the next level. So his strengths are leadership, passion for football, well-rounded game for a modern-day quarterback. Weaknesses, of course, would be being well-rounded. It hurts draft stock since he's good at many things, but he's a master or elite at none. Accuracy being at 62% is also somewhat of a concern. Pro comp, I think he's more like a Tim Tebow. I think that's a perfect comparison just given his size, his love of the game, right, and his big playmaking ability there. So, he's kind of a grinder a little bit, but he's interesting, so I kind of like him. Grade, I give him a B. Projected team, I think he's going round 3 to the Cleveland Browns. They've of course got the Deshaun Watson thing, and they just need a good character type of guy and a good quarterback that can learn a little bit. And I think that could be possible culture change for the Cleveland Browns. Number 8 quarterback, I have Trey Johnson from Illinois, and the only real reason I ranked J.J. Smith and Jeff Young ahead of Trey Johnson is simply due to the accolades of those two players and recency bias. Trey is an efficient passer and doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He's got 26 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions all season long. But his size is a huge concern at 5'11" for NFL teams, and without much of a running game in his repertoire, Jeff Young can get away with it. You've got J.J. Smith can get away with it, and we'll talk about another player that can kind of get away with it. But if you don't have a running game being that small, he just falls down the boards a little bit. He's got the ability to be a great passer, as evident in his statistics, but he really needs that running game in his weaponry as a quarterback, rolling out of the pocket, play actions and bootlegs, etc. Something to get him moving, to get away from the pocket. You know, Trey is just seemingly another project quarterback, but only due to the baggage he has tied with him about his size. And scouts are really going to hit on the size issue, but it just never stopped guys like Murray, Wilson, Breeze, etc. There's always exceptions to the rule, and there's also trends to follow too. There's some truth in the numbers there. It's always a wild card when dealing with smaller, less traditionally sized quarterbacks. So strengths, he obviously takes care of the football. He maintains pocket presence and awareness of pressure. He's highly efficient as a passer. But weaknesses are size, arm strength, and there's not much of a running game to speak of. I think pro comparison, you could have really compared him to Drew Brees a little bit. I think that's kind of a lofty comparison just because he's a Hall of Fame type of guy. I don't know if Trey Johnson's going to be a Hall of Famer, so we'll go conservative here and do Doug Flutie. I think he's just kind of, of a small little guy, and I just think that kind of makes sense. Great, I give it a C+, and projected team, I think the Dolphins would be perfect. They've got all the weapons in the world for them, and if Tua can thrive in there, then so can Trey Johnson. But Tua is also in a situation where he's kind of got to get it figured out here fairly quickly, or they're going to be looking for somebody else. And I think this is just kind of a contingency plan with a guy like Trey Johnson. Number 9 quarterback, we have Reggie Davis from Baylor. So much like J.J. Smith, Reggie Davis just is not allowed to throw very often. So we don't really see this ability from him on a large scale to make an assumption on what he can do at the next level. What Davis does well is run, though. Very much a college quarterback. Reggie Davis can excite you at times and then other times leave you wondering why in the heck did he just do that. A 55% completion percentage leaves you confirming that, but his ability to run can wow you. With averaging 72 yards per game and totaling over 700 rushing yards on the season, Davis is just one of those quarterbacks that you salivate about. If we could just get him to learn the quarterback position, he could just be a weapon. The only problem, his junior season he tossed up 15 interceptions, and this year only 3. So is this year a fluke? Is it true that he can learn to be a better passer? Did he put the work in to do it? Did the coaching staff require less responsibility for Davis to throw this season? He hasn't turned the ball over as much, but that completion percentage is a little worrisome. It's something an NFL team will have to weigh, the pros and cons, but again, he'll need to be a bench guy until that day comes to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. I think Reggie will be a career backup, but a fine one at that. I mean, look at this throw in overtime. He's got the clutch factor. He's got the I'll prove you wrong mentality. He's the ultimate wild card in this draft class at quarterback. Strengths, of course, will be running ability and clutch factor. Weaknesses are inconsistency and accuracy. Pro comparison, I compare him to Denard Robinson. I think that makes sense, total sense. He's a runner. He can make throws that you're like, whoa, and then other throws are like, whoa. Great, I give him a C+, just kind of middle of the road, kind of wait and see type of prospect. But I think he might go to the Giants, I think, in round number 3. They've got some plays in that playbook for Daniel Jones already established that he can run a little bit, and he's got some time. He's got some time to sit and learn behind Daniel Jones, and they might just thrust him into the starting gig eventually if Jones just can't cut it. Number 10 quarterback Lucas Key from UL Monroe. Lucas Key has come out of nowhere to improve his draft stock from undrafted to at least a round 3 to round 4 projection. Being one of the top 5 passing leaders in all of the NCAA, leading the Warhawks to a number 11 ranking for the first time ever in school history, Key has wowed many scouts with this push. As a junior, Key could stay back for another season with ULM, but many are telling him to take the paycheck. Key has expressed wanting to see what a year or two within Melvin Bro's aggressive and pass-heavy offense would look like with him under center yet again, as he's now become the face of changing the culture at the program. He'll have a tough decision to make as the combine nears closer, but Key still has some things to work on regarding his game, which many scouts believe he should stay for his senior season and get those things polished up. Like his coach, Key is very aggressive with the football and oftentimes has gotten away with what should be interceptions. Where he shows flashes of reading defenses perfectly and utilizing his playmakers, there are other times where Key fires the football carelessly, which would lead to surefire turnovers at the next level. Many scouts think it's the teams he's playing against, and it's a knock on the Cajun 6 conference. But in highly competitive games against USC, Tennessee, and Oregon, he didn't really play that badly. So it's proven that he can hold his own against some top-tier programs. So strengths, I would think, are confidence and accuracy. Weaknesses are inconsistency and careless with the football at times. And I say accuracy because it's kind of a blend. Those strengths are kind of a blend with weaknesses, actually, too. So sometimes he's confident, sometimes he's accurate with the confidence. He's going to be aggressive. He's going to fire it in there. He's going to think that he's going to fire it into a little tight window, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And there's been times where he's tossed up some dots, man. But other times it's like, Luke, where are you going with that? So pro comp, I think he's more like an Eli Manning. I think that makes perfect sense, where he can make some really accurate throws, some ridiculous throws. You're like, wow, what a toss that was. But other times it's like, where were you going with that? That's a surefire interception. So grade, I give Lucas Key a C, a solid C. If he stays, I think he could get to a B easily. Projected team, I think he could go anywhere, really. If a team needs a backup quarterback, second stringer, third stringer, practice squad guy. I don't think he'd ever be a practice squad guy, but he could possibly go to a team that needs something like that, that's kind of straying away from the veteran backup or just a contingency plan type of guy. So I think that's probably a good projection for Lucas Key. Number 11 quarterback, Mike Trandor from Rutgers. And here's an issue with Mike. He hasn't played all season, and that's the biggest knock on this player. And again, I feel like a broken record here with the size thing, but I know scouts are going to hit him hard for it. It just happens every single season that we talk NFL draft, that you read combine stuff. It's just everybody talks about size. And standing at 5'11", and not getting much film on Trandor, it's really going to hurt his draft stock. And all of that aside, Trandor did play against a tough NC State team in the snow, but ended up leaving the game due to an injury again. So Rutgers would end up losing the game in overtime. Trandor did showcase high levels of accuracy, but he did lack a deep throw ability. So West Coast team would really fit him nicely, but he's still got a lot of work to do to be even considered a starting quarterback at the next level. We just don't have a ton of film on him, and I think this season just really hurt. So accuracy, vision, I like it from him, but the size thing and being injury prone, those are definite weaknesses. Pro comparison, I think he's more like a Jeff Garcia. And a grade, I give him a C+. Projected team, I think he might go to the Buccaneers. So a good defense, running game is already established, and of course Tom Brady probably retiring here the next 2 seasons. So I think Trandor could get drafted here late and find himself in a nice situation and a pretty good career at Tampa Bay. My number 12 quarterback here, Pittsburgh's Clint Turner. He's a 95 overall quarterback in the game, and I felt like I had to include this guy, but he's not been very good. Now, I will give him credit here. I kind of had to throw him in, despite the statistics. I had to throw him in. He's 95 overall, and he's led his team to a number 4 ranking, and that was all up until they lost to Georgia Tech, who's number 3. So they lost to the Jeff Young-led Yellow Jackets. And with only 13 touchdowns and 5 interceptions on the season, he just has not put the ball into the end zone enough to be considered a top-tier quarterback prospect. On his career, Turner has amassed 58 touchdowns and 46 interceptions in 4 seasons. He's a 4-year starter, guys. And while he's cut down on the turnover bug each season, 16 his freshman year, 15 sophomore, and 10 last season, Turner still has turnered it over way too many times. Did you see what I did there? So as a 4-year starter, you'd expect progression, but with Turner, we actually see stagnation. I like Turner as a career backup in the NFL, and just to mention, by the way, guys, he's a career 45% completion percentage quarterback. It's absolutely dreadful, the numbers that he's posted. So his strengths, he showcases leadership qualities. He's a student of the game. He's a hard worker, but Weaknesses is he just lacks pure and natural ability to play the position. He makes too many turnovers, too many bad decisions, and as a pro comparison, I just can't think of anyone that bad. Grade would be a D. Projected team, well, I hate the Packers, so yeah, you guys take him. How's that Jordan Love experiment working for you? Round 6, I think he's going to the Pack. If I missed anybody in here as a senior quarterback in the Cajun 6, I don't think I have. I think maybe Philip Maynard could come back. I think he might be a junior for Tulane. I'm kind of waiting on seeing if I should include these guys in the draft class or not. If they're seniors, I will. If they're juniors, I'll wait to see if they just decide that they're going to stay, and we'll go from there. But guys, that is it for the video. Leave a like if you like this thing, and what did you think about the draft profiles? Let me know in the comment section below if you liked them. I know it was very long to get through, and I appreciate every one of you guys that stuck around to watch this thing. Timestamps, of course, have been linked below to go to certain players in their profile and when they start, so you can kind of click back and forth to see if guys that you're interested in. But man, what a video. I had fun doing it. I had fun typing out these scripts and analyzing these players and getting gameplay. Tomorrow is supposed to be running backs. No guarantees there, but tomorrow is supposed to be running backs. I'm going to try my darndest to do it. I won't show every running back. I'm sorry, guys, but this was a lot of work on short notice and short time. So I won't be covering every single running back. I'll have screenshots for you guys to talk about them and kind of where I see them projected in kind of the same format here, but gameplay. Some running backs do a lot of things well. Some running backs just don't get a lot of love, even though they're high overall. It's just, I don't know. You start seeing the same highlight over and over and over again with college football video game. Same thing with like O linemen. How many times can you see an O lineman like pass blocking? Like, there's nothing that, in real life you can look at that and look at those differences between like footwork and covering the blitz and taking one edge rusher out and then switching and helping a teammate out, helping another O lineman. So it's hard to get gameplay and then be like, oh, look at his footwork. There is no footwork. It's the same animation for every player over and over and over again. So I'm not going to cover like 50 O linemen. It's just not going to happen. So I will give you guys their statistics. I will show you them, give you some screenshots of them in game. But yeah, I won't be showing gameplay for every single player. But guys, again, leave a like if you like this thing. And are you looking forward to the next one? Let me know in the comment section below. As always, thanks so much for watching, and peace.